What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ranch. All right, ranchers, what are we doing today? We're going to talk plant propagation or hard cutting propagation. And I have white flowering dogwood, red osier dogwood, and a willow right here. We're going to get into propagating, which means taking a cutting and putting it into a medium, whether it's water or soil. Today we're doing soil, and letting this to root out and basically cloning a tree that's desirable for us. And I will show you what you want is a nice long skinny stem about the size of a pencil in diameter, up to about as fat as your pinky. And you want to get the newest growth, what was grown in the previous season. This is best done in winter. We're here in the earliest first week of February, and I have all my cuttings that I just took today, and we're going to get started. So, like I said, I have 3 different types, and you want them kind of straight. So the first thing you do is just cut off all your excess little shoot offs, and that's because you want as little bit of energy drawing up this as possible. Each one of those little sticks would need water and nutrients to survive, and we want less of that. We want all the energy in the main stick we're going to be working with here, because we don't have any roots yet, and roots is what pull that in, and we're trying to stimulate some root growth. So we are going to take that, and let me just tell you what I have laid out here. I have some potting soil here. I have some rooting powder. This is important. This is going to help us stimulate some roots. I have some water, and I have some containers. These are basically just like little to-go containers that I have here. And I'm going to be using these as a pot medium. This way you can see, hopefully in a later video, I can show you in these, because they're clear, that the roots will be growing along the edge here in the dirt, and you'll be able to see that these have propagated or taken root. You could do this with regular small little pots. You don't need anything fancy like this. This is more for video purposes. So we're gonna get started here. I don't really need the lids. I'm gonna get rid of them too. All right, so we have white flowering dogwood, we have red osier dogwood, and then we just have willow. All of these are very vigorously growing and easy to catch root. Also, I've chosen these for a couple of different things. Deer love all 3 of these. Everything at the ranch always revolves around deer and what we're doing. And usually you need to have a plan with habitat management. Think chess, not checkers. So I have a stream that runs through the property from the food plot down, and it's pretty wide open. And all of these will grow well in wet soil. And they're also going to provide some browse, which means food for the deer as these grow. And if they catch root and take off, they'll provide food for years to come. And they also will now provide a little structure along that stream river I have coming down my property, which is also what I want. But that's enough about why I picked these for the moment. Let's get into propagating. All right, guys, so I just filled up a couple of these containers here, 3 of them, because I have 3 different types, and punctured some holes in the bottom of them just to allow for some drainage. I just used a drill bit and a 3/8 drill bit, just popped 3 holes, just because you want to keep this moist, but you don't want to keep it soggy and terrible. That'll cause rot, and the stick will not propagate and survive. All right, so I got 3 of those, and I got 3 of these. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our stick, and each one of these sticks, I'm going to come in there and show you this. Each one of these sticks has these buds, little buds here, little budded sections. And you got to keep this in the same direction that it would grow, because it won't grow if you plant it upside down. So dogwoods are pretty easy, they point up. And you want to take about 4 to 5 of these. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And that's about how long you want to take one of your cuttings here to propagate. And then we're going to cut it just about, you know, an inch or so past that last fifth cutting. All right. So now I'm going to do that down the rest of this stick. All right. So I'm just going to cut it top on an angle. And then now we have the first bud, the second bud, third bud, fourth bud, and then fifth bud. So then I'm going to cut it right here, again, about an inch or two, right below. And that's going to produce me 2 cuttings from that one stick. Now I'm going to go through and do that on all of these, okay, and get them ready. The willows, we're going to have to do something a little different because the willows have all these buds, and obviously 5 buds would be a small little piece. But the idea is to get about, you know, a 10 to 13 inch section, and you know, we'll take it from there. I'm going to try to get past where all these buds are and down into the section that's less buddy, and we'll take it right there. So that'll be how this one will look. And then here's the rest of this stick, the remaining part of this stick, and I'm going to say that that's 2 perfect pieces right there, like that, 13 inches. And we'll do that with the willows and have this all set up. All right, so let me cut those up for you. All right, guys, they're all cut to size. They're all ready kind of to go into our medium, which is going to be a nice loosely packed dirt, as you can see by the way it just fell out. You get some potting soil. Think something that's light and airy. I've seen people do this with sand. You don't want something that's too clay-based, too muddy, because you want it to kind of have air in there. Believe it or not, the air helps stimulate the roots, and we're also using rooting agent, which is going to help stimulate the roots. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our pot, we're going to take one of our sticks that we just cut, and we're going to I'm going to come up and show you, now that it's cut, what we're going to do with the ends of this. So right from the end bud here, I have a little knife, and I want to take that bud and I just want to like peel it just like that. And then right from the other bud, I just want to peel it just like that. You could probably use a vegetable peeler if your wife will let you use your vegetable peeler out in the field, or just buy one. But I got a little knife here, a little buck knife, and we're just going to do a couple of scratches. So let me go back to my chair. So with those scratches, we're going to take the end of this and dip it in our rooting element and mix it around. And you can see I got the white all the way up to the top of those scratches. Now, this is all it is. It goes into the dirt. Push it down just about halfway up to the next node. We're all going to try to keep everything the same height. So again, we're going to come up, and I'll show you on a smaller one. We got the last node we kept with the growth, and we're going to just scratch it. Just scratch it, just like that. And that helps activate some of the rooting. And then I'll show you up close here with our rooting powder. Nothing fancy here. We're just gonna, let me try to get a better angle for you. Mix it around. Like, that's all I'm doing, is mixing it around and getting a nice little layer at the bottom here. All right, and then this goes right in our pot. Just about this, keep them all the same height. So that's our red osier dogwood. This is a numbers game. That's why we have so many cuttings here. Not all of these will survive and take root. So you want to put as many as you can together to get more results. Dogwoods, though, super vigorous, usually easy to root. I need a whole bunch. I know what you're saying. Nick, just go buy some. How much could they be? Well, I need like 40 or 50 plants, and I have one that I can cut and do this to, so every year I could put out a couple of plants and let them take off, and it's free, as opposed to spending 30, 40 bucks a plant. So that's what we're doing here. So this is the osier dogwood, and we're going to now just water this in just a little bit. Or we're going to miss it and water the table instead. At least it didn't go in the rooting hormone. Now we're just going to water this in a little bit at a time, let that kind of do its thing. You don't really like have to pack it. Let it kind of do its own thing, because again, this is a light soil. You kind of want to let it go a little bit at a time and let it pack in. You could always add some soil. I could see the water running down as it filters through, and then we're just going to let it be moist like this, and that's it. See, I got some water dripping out of the bottom, my holes I drilled, and now that one is done. We're going to let that stay just like that. Give it a little tap like that. May even throw a little bit of dirt because it settled a whole bunch right on the top there. And that's that. That's one. Those are my dogwoods. And again, it's a little bit of a numbers game, so I have 2 in each pot. This way, if one dies, at least this pot will be successful in rooting one of the trees. If they both root, perfect. I'm going to take them out of this and plant them together. I mean, I could separate them at that point, or I could just plant them together because I'm looking for a bush effect anyway. So that's one. All right, let me clean up and move on. And everything is potted, a little bit of rooting hormone, a little bit of packed in dirt, they're watered in. Now what? Well, if you have an outside hoop house or a little bit of a greenhouse, you could just leave them outside. You could also leave them in an area that's not going to be exposed to direct sunlight all day long outside. Basically, these are going to sit now from the winter, because we're in the first week of February, all the way through summer in these pots. We are going to let them take root and take over in these pots. The plan is to plant these, either you can go next summer, after this summer, or I should say spring really, or at the end of this summer, which is what these are fitted to do for me. I'm going to plant them at the end of the summer, maybe in another video. All right, and again, we could leave these outside in non-direct sunlight. If you have a hoop house or a greenhouse or something like that, perfect, put them in there. I'm going to put a couple of these outside. I'm going to put a couple of these on my windowsill. And all right, stay tuned.
What's up, ranchers? Welcome back. It's a beautiful March 5th Saturday here, and we are 3 weeks into our pot project. Today I thought it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Feels like spring is in the air, especially with daylight savings on the horizon for next week. So let's take a tour and see what's happening with our potted shoots, sticks, stems in these clear pots in my yard here in suburbia. We are in my backyard in suburbia. Hey Danzig, how's it going? All right. So we want our plants on the north side of a building. So here they are, not in direct sunlight, north side. I kind of have them blocked out by the tree. White flowering dogwoods, nothing happening. All right. Red osier dogwood, aka deer candy, nothing happening. But our sticks are here in the pots. Look how red, look how stark and beautiful those are. Man, I just love these red osier dogwoods. All right, so nothing's happening here. And moving on, lastly, we have our willow cuttings also here. The reason why I have them here is they're on like the north side of all these bushes, not in direct sunlight, but in getting some sun, getting some heat. And oh, look at that. The willows are just something else, man. They are just super vigorous and they want to grow. And this one is actually opening up, which is awesome. It's in the water. I don't see roots on this, but we are getting some signs of life. We're getting some signs of life. And I suspect as we warm up here, these will take root because they are super vigorous. All right, and that's what's happening. Okay, my outside potted propagation follow-up, March 20th. Let's check in. White flowering dogwood, nothing happening. You could feel the sun getting warmer now as we're moving into March 20th. So I feel like something's gonna happen here. Coming around. The red osier dogwood, oh, still nice and red. Still not doing much, but they look fantastic. I haven't done anything, I've just let nature water these and take care of them. They're not opening either on March 20th. All right, and last, we got the willows. Whoa, I mean, this guy, even from the last entry, has opened up a ton. I made a lot of these fuzzy pussy willow type thing, and spinning the pot. No roots that I could see yet, but the shoot is looking great. This shoot seems to be turning a little green, like it's about to open too. The soil seems, you know, moistened by nature, so not doing anything on these. This is just what nature's doing out here. And that's my my entry on what's happening on the outside propagated pots.
Look at my spot right here. What do I got? These cuttings I set up in February right there, in dirt, in cups. And watch when I spin. Whoa, look at the roots. Red Osier Dogwood, grown here in suburbia, headed to deer country on Fig and Clover Ranch real soon. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today is Memorial Day weekend, Saturday, and we're going to check in at my pot propagations, hard cuttings put right into dirt, and check out how they've been doing over here in my yard, tucked in underneath my trees, catching some sunlight and stuff. Let's see how they're doing. Started in February, and I think today is going to be the conclusion. Here we are in the suburban backyard, and let's check in with our pot propagations here at the end of May. And we got the white flowering dogwood doing great. Just popping leaves everywhere, just sitting here. Same with the other one, just doing great. These again are out of direct sunlight. They catch some sunlight that's diffused by my plants on like the north side of my whole house. And then coming along in the middle of these is Danzig. Hey, buddy. All right, so let's check out what's going on in here. So, wow, red Osier Dogwood tucked in here. And, see? This is what I was talking about early on. It's a numbers game. These two have died and rotted. I haven't given any of this water. I've only let nature do its thing. Maybe that was the reason why. Who knows? It's tough to say, but that's why you got to play the numbers and stick as many of these as you can. These will not survive. These will be dying. But let's take a look at this awesome plant. Holy cow, look at how great that is. This one's about to start making a flower on the top of this. That's pretty awesome. It looks super healthy. The counterpart did die. Now, that's what I find absolutely amazing. Same spot, same pot, same everything. This one dies. This one does amazing and is going to make a flower soon. And when we look at all the roots. The roots are throughout this whole pot. So this one is definitely going to be taken by me to my ranch, where I will plant it and let it grow in deer country. But for now, it's going right back to where it's doing great in the spot right there, tucked between my trees. And last, we're popping around to my third spot, where we got the willows. And just like in the other spot, two willows that rotted and they're on their way out. They're not really doing much at all. But then when I fish in here and grab this second one, look at that. Every one of these three is looking amazing. Just growing flowers and stems, and the whole pot is full of roots. So this pussy willow I'm going to take up to the ranch as well and use for some screening for deer. But for now, again, it's just going to sit there till I get to my weekend where I go to the ranch. And I have not done anything but keep them out of direct sun and keep them in between some of my trees here and let nature do its thing. All right, ranchers, as you can see, I'm pretty happy with my results in the corner of my yard here in suburbia. All my cuttings are growing, are taking off. And truth be told, a whole bunch of them I put inside and they all died. I was gonna show you that piece of the video too, but I decided to edit it out, even though some friends of mine told me I should have left it in. I felt this was long enough. The reason is I didn't do anything wrong with those cuttings. They just rotted and died because the soil I chose was too heavy. They even leafed out and looked great for a while, but because the soil was too heavy and stayed too wet, probably because I was overwatering, they rotted and died, so I edited that out. But as you can see in the yard where I did nothing, all those cuttings took off, are doing great, they're rooting, and they're gonna make it to deer country, which is pretty awesome up at the ranch. All right, now if you wanted to do this, you don't even have to do what I did in the pots for you here. You could take hard cuttings and cut them, just stick them in the ground. You are gonna have to play that numbers game, and as I got here, about a 40% catch, so you're gonna have to stick a whole bunch in the ground, but you can do that and get a whole bunch of plants to sprout and grow for free. All right, guys, thanks for sticking in on this adventure. See you around.